Hello, I'm Jane Dawson, Funding Programmes Director at Arts Council England. Welcome to this recorded session on the financial templates for National Portfolio Organisations 2023 to 26. Before I get started, I wanted to let you know about where you can go for more information and support. You can find out all you need to know about applying to the National Portfolio on our website, and that's www.artscouncil.org.uk/NPO23. This includes information for getting access support from a member of our team if you need it. This presentation is available on our website in two formats, one with BSL interpretation and the other with subtitles. We also have a glossary of financial terms on our website, along with example templates populated with made-up data. In this session, we'll go through what the templates are, what they're for, why we use them, and what you need to tell us when you're filling them in. The templates are a tool for you to tell us about your organisation's financial information. The purpose of the templates is to make sure that the financial information you'll provide as part of your NPO or IPSO application is consistent and comparable with others so that we can make our decisions fairly. We understand that many organisations will have their own ways of monitoring and reporting financial activity and progress, and that reporting formats can vary greatly. It's for this reason that we've provided templates for this information, and we require them to be completed and submitted as part of all NPO and IPSO applications. Using templates allows us to easily, clearly and fairly assess applications. If you don't use the templates and this hasn't been agreed as a reasonable adjustment for access purposes, we will not be able to consider your application and it could be made ineligible. This video takes us through version 2 of the finance template. We've developed this revised version to respond to queries we've received from people using it. If, however, you've already started completing the first version we published, don't worry. You can continue to use that one if you want to, or you can transfer data onto this one. The decision is yours, and we can use either version in assessing your application. Let's take a closer look at the templates, starting at the beginning. So I'm here on the contents page. When you open the templates document, it always opens up with this contents page, and that provides links to each of the 3 financial templates you'll need to fill out. It also has a key on the right, just here, that lets you know what information we need you to input into each cell as we go through. There'll be a Return to Contents button on each template page, which you'll need to select to move between the 3 templates. Let's go and have a look at the balance sheet. There we are, full balance sheet. This is the first template in the document. You should complete the balance sheet template with information based on your organisation's position at the 31st of December 2021. This gives us a snapshot of the general financial health of your organisation at a moment in time and allows us to look across all the applications we receive. If you're part of a consortium, the balance sheet should be completed by the lead organisation with financial information for their own operation. The balance sheet template is based on a relatively standard reporting format. The information we ask for here aligns with the information organisations are required to provide in annual accounts. Let's take a quick look at the headings over here on the left-hand side. They should be familiar to you. Fixed assets, current liabilities, long-term liabilities, and then down at the bottom, fund balances and free reserves. You should include relevant items under each of the headings provided, as this will allow assessment across a large number of applications. This may mean you'll need to group a number of items together under the balance sheet lines we've provided. For example, there may be a few organisations or people that owe you money for work that you've done. So this would come under the trade debtors heading. You should add them all together and present a total amount for debtors here. Not all headings will apply for all organisations. For example, let's just move down a little bit. If you don't have defined benefit pension scheme liabilities here, or other items included on the balance sheet template for that matter, you should leave the cell blank. For local authorities or universities, the balance sheet can be for the organisation as a whole. This balance sheet does not have to be independently audited or certified. It can be drawn from your internal accounts at the 31st of December. So here's the Return to Contents button. So let's click back there and select the next section, Annual Budget. Let's go back to the top again. So this is the second template for your annual budget. You're required to complete the budget template with your organisation's detailed budget for the financial year 23-24, that's here. And by 23-24, we mean the 1st of April 2023 to the 31st of March 2024. We know that some organisations will have a different financial year, but we need to see information presented to match our financial year, as that is how funding would be allocated. We also need to see your indicative budgets for the following 2 years. By indicative budgets, we mean budgets that serve to give a direction of travel and are representative of the plans that you have for those years. These indicative budgets may be preliminary or draft rather than finalised. We know that plans change. Before going on, let's just take a quick look at these headings, which will look familiar to you, I'm sure. So we've got income here with a number of subheadings underneath. Then expenditure, and that's grouped under staffing. Direct activity costs. We have a full explanation of what we mean by direct activity costs in our frequently asked questions. Overheads here, coming down to a total at the bottom, total expenditure, so that adds in all of the subtotals together. And then information on total funds and free reserves. Also got a line here that shows what your surplus or deficit is for that year based on your projected income and expenditure. You should include your budgeted income and expenditure within the headings provided in the template. We understand that some organisations may budget and report in different detail than is set out here. However, this is the level of detail we will need to assess your application. This might mean that you'll need to group types of income or expenditure together to include within the headings provided. As an example, direct activity costs here may include fees for freelancers, as well as production costs such as room hire and materials where relevant. we know that there will be quite a few separate items of expenditure that make up this line. You can include brief notes on exceptional items in the relevant box in this note column on the far right-hand side. For example, you may have grouped a few things together under one heading, but need to explain a material item included that might appear to distort a line in the budget. As an example, you may be planning to purchase some digital equipment for a particular exhibition that won't be depreciated. You'd put that in here, in the direct activity costs line in the budget, there, and the explanation here in the notes column. You can use these indicative planning figures to decide whether or not you need to put a note in the far right-hand column. So this fictional digital equipment, for instance, might make your 23-24 figure look a lot bigger than the other 2 years. So you might want to explain that. In some circumstances, a budget may be more appropriate at a department level. This should be exceptional and would normally only apply to local authority organisations or universities. For consortiums, your budget template should be completed for consortium activity. At the bottom of the template down here, in response to feedback, we've added in reserves and fund balances to show the year-end position and how that feeds into the balance sheet. That should be familiar to you, but if not, and you do have reserves and need more information than we've provided on our website, you should discuss how to complete this element with your accountant. Let's pop up to the Return to Contents button and go back so that we can now go in and have a look at the cash flow forecast. Again, I'll just take it back up to the top. Here we go. So, cash flow forecast, again, with lots of familiar headings to you, grouped under income, then expenditure, and then information on balances brought and carried forward, and then fund balances at the bottom. So that's just to show movement in cash. I'm just going to go back to the top again so that you can clearly see that we've organised this for the financial year, the 1st of April 2023 to the 31st of March 2024. So going all the way over to here. We go, and totals at the end. So the cash flow forecast template is the third and final of these financial templates. The cash flow forecast should be completed for the period 1st of April, 31st of March, as I said, whatever your financial year. Your organisation's cash flow forecast should indicate the anticipated source of cash income and also your expenditure for each month, showing the impact on the cash position. The cash flow forecast should be a summary of all cash transactions. You should include your projected cash income and expenditure within the headings provided in the template. As I mentioned before, we do understand that your organisation may not report in exactly the same way as we're asking you to do here, but this is the level of detail we require in order to assess applications. This may mean you need to group types of cash income or expenditure together within the headings provided. So here we are, and again, the classic example here is direct activity costs, where you've just got one line, whereas you may have lots of different items underneath that budget heading from the previous template. So for many organisations, your cash flow totals for income and expenditure will be almost the same as your budget, but this will vary. And do think about your cash flow carefully. For example, here we are. Let's have a look at the mortgage rent line. If your annual rent is £12,000 and you pay it quarterly, include how much you expect to pay and when you expect to pay it. Don't just put it in as £1,000 a month. And just moving down to think about the balance brought forward figure. So that's here. After April 2023, it will be calculated automatically, but the balance brought forward figure at the 1st of April 2023 should be your anticipated opening cash balance at the start of that month. You should take it from your cash flow forecast at the point of your application to the 31st of March 2023. And that should include all cash held by your organisation. We do know that it won't be accurate. We know that things change, but please do just be as near to reality as you can be. The closing cash balance for each month should be broken down on the cash flow forecast. So that's like that, I mean down here where we have the fund balances. This is to make it clear whether the sources of the cash are restricted, meaning you can't use it for general purposes, for example, including endowment funds, or unrestricted designated or unrestricted general. Do use, and they're over here, there, do use the glossary of financial terms that's on our website to help you with this. And there is also a publication called Managing Your Funds and Reserves that may help. But if you need more information about reserves than is provided here or on our website, you should speak to your accountant. For local authority organisations and universities, the cash flow forecast template should be completed for the service for which you're applying. For example, a museum or library service. For consortiums, the cash flow forecast template should be completed for consortium activity. We'll go back to the content screen now. There we go. And that's your walkthrough of the financial templates complete. Before I go, I wanted to go over the next steps that you should be thinking about at this point. Please do make use of the other resources on our website that I've mentioned, the glossary of terms, the example set of completed templates. You may also find other information on the website helpful, for example, publications on business planning and managing your funds and reserves. For all of that and information on how to get in touch with us and to see more about the Access support offer we have, please visit our website. Thank you for watching and listening.